people sometimes confuse a story with rambling on, right? And it's so important to be able to know how to tell what I keep saying is a small S and a big S story. If any of you has the time, please go online, look at the hero's journey. It's originally based on a book called the Hero with a Thousand Faces by Joseph Campbell. And here it very clearly illustrates what are the almost like a clock's wheel and tells you all the moments in a story. And if you will look at it, whether it's the Mahabharata or the Ramayana, whether it is Lagan or Superman, whether it is Matrix or Lion King, I mean, you name it, Bahubali, etc., etc. All of these films follow the big S storytelling, epic storytelling, as we call it. Small S storytelling is what I just told you. Start with a little bit of a hook which gets the person in. Then you say, who's the protagonist? What's the obstacle? What's the goal? It's as simple as that, right? I could just turn and say, for example, I'm talking to you. Suddenly there's a bell at the door. Now that's the obstacle. Will I go and solve it, not solve it? Is it important enough to the audience? Those are the stakes. Oh my God, the house is on fire and I suddenly need to leave this conversation. The stakes have been raised. Oh my God, suddenly somebody walks in here with a hand cut and it's an emergency and I need to attend to it. The stakes have been raised. That's the obstacle. The goal is very simple. We're having a conversation which we need to conclude. Now, this is the simplest form of storytelling. Once you have got all your stories and you've found what's the obstacle, what's the goal, who's the protagonist, what's my hook. If you can find this in any story, you're safe. Then start building on things like visual cues, emotions, description, scenic settings, etc., etc. And of course, constantly realizing in the goal, what's the message you want to land. Now, these are very important to do. Otherwise, very often people start rambling, don't know where a story begins, don't know where it ends. And this very often dilutes the power of a story. And then they run away saying, oh, I don't know how to tell a story. No, you know how to tell a story. There's a very simple rule that I tell people, which is called write, read, reduce, repeat. So write out the story. The first time you write it out, carburetors say, kachra nikalta hai, my dad used to say. In the old days when you used to have scooters. So initially, don't play. Your first draft will not be your best draft, but it will be possibly your most honest draft. Then, once you've written it, read it. Oh my God, I could do away with this. Again, this is a very nice exercise. Write a page, reduce it to a para, reduce it to a line. If you can do either of these techniques, you will find the crux of a story, the nichode of a story, the real elixir which lies within a story. And once you've got that, you can decide how much you want to expand depending on the time.